Hello, I am Jody Wolf and you are watching EXPOZ. Today, September 19, 2010 in Birmingham, Alabama. I want to talk to you a little bit about good old Mother Earth and what she can do daily to repair herself. I'm going to tell you and expose to you, this is why we are titled EXPOZ. I'll tell you the truth where they want you to believe a lie, and I'll tell you it's a lie if they want you to believe it is true. So what I want to discuss right now, and I'm going to lay it on the line and let you know exactly what it is, what happened, and what it takes to clean it up. The oil spill in the Gulf. To start with, you have about 5 layers of oil. Each of them will be broken up and separated, such as the part that floats on the water is evaporated by the sun, and there's another layer that is on the water. Depending on the water temperature, it too is evaporated by the sun. The agitation of the waves in this oil also evaporates it. Some of the heavier stuff that's in close proximity to land is going to make it to land. But all it takes is a really good hurricane to wash it up, clean it up, take it out, and you'll never see it again. The much heavier stuff, now pay attention to what I'm telling you, okay? The much heavier went to the bottom. Now, where this occurred in the Gulf is in the 5,500 feet below sea level. So it's a mile down. Now, if you research it, you'll see that there is a rift, that there is a valley, a very deep valley, kind of like the Grand Canyon, but deeper and wider and bigger. But the amount of oil that was spilled over the time that it was spilled over these however many days, 75 days or something like that, most of it will make its way to the depths of the ocean. Now let me tell you how much room that will take up and encompass, and how much life that will more than likely hurt or destroy. Number one, the portion that's on the surface of the water destroys far more life than the oil that goes to the bottom. Again, a good storm will wash sand right over the oil. If the oil is lying on the edge of a valley, it's going to move downward. So you take a spot in the Gulf, 300 feet wide. You know, this is the length of a football field. Not even a mile long, you know, but for the sake of heck of saying it, say 2 miles. And then, what, 20 feet deep, 30 feet. That far exceeded the amount of oil that leaked into that water. Just what I've described to you. And in fact, the amount of pollutants that are put in the ocean every day throughout the world exceeded that entire oil leak by 100 times. That's right, you heard me. The pollution that we put in the ocean from all the factory runoffs, all the farm runoffs, all the trash, all the oil that leaks in the fuel that leaks through the ships that travel the seas, the airplanes that go down, all the stuff that we do exceeds the Gulf oil leak by 100 times daily. Pay attention to what I'm saying. And I'm going to jump on Al Gore, and I'm going to prove my case. He's yelling global warming. Seems like Clinton has joined that bandwagon too, because there's a lot of money there. But where do you think that money goes? Do you think it's going to clean up anything? No. It's going to fund Al Gore's jet. Every time he takes that jet off and goes from point A to point B, you can take 5,000 cars off the road for a year. So who's putting out more pollution? Did you know that there are more trees on Earth today than there were in 1920? Although they're clear cutting thousands of acres a day, there's still more trees today on Earth than there were in 1920. Did you know that there's more ice on Earth today than there were in 1910, 1920, 1940, 1950? Did you know that? Just because it's not all stacked up at the North Pole doesn't mean that it's not there. The South Pole has 50% more ice than it did 50 years ago. The North Pole may have 30% less ice than it had 50 years ago. So there's a net gain of about 20% increase over this time. But they'll want you to believe that we're in a global warming. God wasn't a dummy when he created this earth. This earth cleans itself. The very rocks speaks to God every day, something that maybe you should do every now and then. Al Gore is feeding you a line. I'm telling you straight up, this earth will clean itself. We are not in a global warming. Not yet. Not yet. And I'm saying this because visit my next YouTube, EXPOZ, and see what time clock means. And I will title my next one time clock, so look for it. But as we are today, we are better off. The weather is unchanged, if not slightly cooler than it was in 1950, 1920. And the earth cleans itself in a fantastic way. In hundreds of different ways it cleans itself. When you have kelp growing in the Bering Sea and around that part of the world, that grows 10 feet long a day, and you have hundreds and hundreds, or if not thousands of square miles of it, this stuff cleans the seawater. And it doesn't only take place around the Bering Strait or in parts of Alaska. It's all over the world. Did you know that there's a strip of seaweed that's in the Atlantic, that's kind of in the middle of the ocean, that runs several thousand miles long? It's warm water. What do you think this is? It's cleaning the water. It's cleaning the ocean water. It's cleaning the pollutants. You can even find trash and plastic cups and lids sitting on top of this seaweed. This is a Gulf Stream. The earth has in place the mechanics it needs to clean up the mess that we make. All we can do, if you're that conscious, that afraid, that worried about it, stop throwing stuff in the water. But as far as the global warming, there's not enough money ever been created on Earth to make a temperature 1 degree change. Remember that. Jody Wolf, EXPOZ.